What's up, guys? Give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me okay. I'm just trying to make sure my audio is working okay. Sweet. How many kills I've gotten in Airsoft? I don't know. I mean, probably several thousand. I mean, if I had to guess. That's just, I'm just guessing though. So, I mean, it could be a few thousand. Could be 5 digits. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna be putting a spring in my F2. Just because I kind of miss what it feels like, and I'll be hitting a field soon that requires trigger springs, which, you know, I don't really like that, but, you know, it's kind of whatever. Nice, Zach, you finally getting that jack? It took you long enough. But you gonna have install it? You know I'd be happy to do it, or Purdue would do it for you, or whoever. Out there. Pull my upper receiver off. Pull out my yeah, for sure, man. I'll install it for you. You already know. I'll get it shooting fast and straight if possible. It's my barrel setup, guys. For those of you that don't know, this is a MAXX ME Sport hop-up, the one without the little BB releasing lever. I don't know why I bought this one, I just did. It is a Prometheus 6.03 barrel. Fairly tight, it's a good balanced barrel. I could have gone 601, I probably will be soon, but for a different barrel setup for outdoor. My bucking is a Maple Leaf 60-degree bucking. Again, a good balanced bucking. If you go too hard, that's for really high FPS, and too low, like a 50 would probably be fine. Honestly, a 70 probably would too, but I just felt like this is a good medium, so it's my barrel setup. I have to run, I played at Airsoft Columbia like a couple weeks ago, and yeah, their limits were 1 joule if you have HBA. So I had to run 45 PSI, which was as low as my gun could cycle on. And I had to mess with the settings like half the afternoon because I don't usually run that low. Usually I run like 55 to 60 psi to be at the limits at battalion. So I had to change my settings to actually waste more air, so that way my FPS was lower. Kind of retarded if you actually know the science behind joules and FPS between AEGs and HPA guns, but it's whatever. I had a good time. I still roll everyone. It was a lot of fun. I'll definitely be back. It's a good business. Anyway, as my barrel's set up, I'll set that up here. Let's see here. This is my receiver setup in case, for those of y'all that have been asking or want to know. Right here, right now, I usually run the Acetech BT, the lighter BT tracer unit. This is the Acetech Bifrost, the rainbow one. Super nice. Love the rainbow. Works really well. I definitely got one that works. And when I say that, I know it sounds weird, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, it doesn't light up the BBs like a really bright color, like you can barely see it, blah blah blah. I have seen that don't perform as well as others, so maybe quality controls kind of taking a step down for Acetech, but honestly, I love this thing. It's super bright. I have another one for sale. I accidentally bought two. There's a long story behind that, but I accidentally bought two, so I have one. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Brand new in the box. I haven't even opened it. I've just been waiting to sell it to somebody. I don't know. $80 cash and it's yours. I'm between banks right now, so people have been asking me, oh, can you take Cash App or Venmo or PayPal or whatnot? And unfortunately, no. I'm between banks right now because my bank down in Florida has been screwing me over right and left. So I'm trying to find a bank local to here in South Carolina, in Greenville, where I live now. Or one that at least, is local to both. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, got the tracer unit on there. I have a 10-inch outer barrel, 10-inch Krytac outer barrel. This is a Krytac CRB rail. This is from the Trident CRB. So the previous generation CRB rails. I do not like the Alpha rails, and I do not like the CRB-M rails, like the newer ones. I think those look weird. Also, the Krytac Alpha rails, that's like a 9-inch or like a 9.5-inch, and the outer barrel actually like sticks out. So I think it looks weird. But like if you take off my tracer, it's like perfectly flush, almost perfectly flush. So even if you don't run an attachment on the front, like a suppressor or a tracer, like you can see, like it's pretty flush on there. So it's pretty nice. And I really like it. I love the look. I wanted this rail since like I first started Airsoft. I saw it on a CRB, and I was like, yeah, the rest of the gun's meh. But like that rail, I was like, that's a super sick rail. I don't know why. Most people will be like, oh, it's just a Krytac rail. I don't know. I just like it. It's really nice. Really like it. Onto my light. I have a pressure switch right here. Yes, I know I zip tied it on. All you Nielsen people are probably cringing right now, but I don't really care. It's pretty clean. But it's pressure switch. The light is a Fiachi. I don't remember the model. It's like a F11, something like that. It's about 900 to 1,000 lumens. Pretty bright. The pressure switch feels really nice. It lights up really nicely. It's got a very sturdy side mount here. It sticks out a little bit farther than I'd like, and it's difficult. And it's pretty difficult to switch it on if you're shooting lefty. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's whatever. You get used to it. Yeah, I got my cord zip tied all the way around. This is a MAXX box that I got from DBB Santa. Shout out to that retard. Nothing much to it. It's just plastic. It's just for aesthetics. This is kind of my Nielsen loadout on the gun. I'll explain why that is later. Let's see here. So then I have a MAXX EOTECH. It does work. It doesn't side in anymore though, so it's like way off to like high in the right. Because just it's been dropped a few times. It is a Mach 1. This is the XBS model, or that's what it's cloned after. It looks really nice. Has the EOTECH trademarks and everything on it. Takes the battery right here and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like it. It stays on pretty well now if you know how to attach it properly. It used to fall off all the time. If you guys watched my video where I went and played at Wasteland and it fell off, like that's like the 8th time that had happened that day, and I just didn't put it in the videos. But yeah, it used to fall off all the time. Now it doesn't really fall off. But yeah, not much to it, but I like it. I've always wanted an EOTECH. I'm working on finding a T1 just for aesthetic and looks that doesn't cost like $50, because I don't want to buy one new that's $50 because that's retarded. It's Airsoft. It's just for looks. I don't actually like. Yes, my gun is plenty accurate enough for it to be useful, but like I play fast paced and I just watch where my BBs go because it's Airsoft. This is not real war. My upper receiver is a G&G Combat Machine. Oh yeah, for the Combat Machine upper and for the EOTECH, shout out to my boy Logan. Got these from him when he hung up the cap of Airsoft. Airsoft was so much better with that guy, but yeah, I bought a bunch of his stuff off of him, including this EOTECH, this upper, a few barrels, couple bodies, crap ton of mags, his pig brake. Yeah, I'll show you on my plate carrier a little bit later, but yeah, that's my setup and all this stuff. So yeah, I'll try and do a full professional looking loadout video, you know, whenever I can. But yeah, so that's my upper receiver. Again, Combat Machine upper, G&G Combat Machine upper receiver. So I'll put that up here for sake of space. Moving on to my lower receiver, the lower part of the gun, we have a Krytac Defiance rail. I'm sorry, excuse me, Krytac Defiance pistol grip. Whoops, bolt catch fell off. I really like the feel of it. The angle's pretty nice. I don't care so much for the look because it looks a little unrealistic, and I know it's like, oh, you just said you don't care about realistic look. Listen. Just, I don't know, grips are different for me. I just, you know, it's not my favorite in looks. It is comfy. I can easily not run gloves, and this will not hurt my hand at all. But, yeah, it's just one of those things. I had it already, and so it's nice. I'll probably swap it out later if I find something better. But most of the grips that look better have a weird angle, and I like the angle of this one, so I've just been vibing with it. So yeah. Rest of the lower, pretty standard tan Combat Machine lower. This is a Matrix mag release. This is a Echo 1 bolt catch, but who gives a crap. Standard selector. Semi full auto, of course. Works just fine. We have a G&G ARP9 gearbox shell. Pretty sturdy. This came out of an ARP9 that I bought. I only had it for a couple weeks. A customer wanted a jack installed in his gun. And, yo, Logan, what's up, cuh? I don't know if you heard, but I gave you a shout out a few minutes ago for the EOTECH and for the upper receiver on my gun. Yeah, shout out to Great Out Lost, my boy Logan. He's, you know, the OG homeboy. Our local edgelord at Battalion, always and forever. But yeah, so I have an ARP9 gearbox shell. Inside, for those of you in my comments lately that have been saying, oh, that's an F1, you know, you keep saying you have an F2, but you have an F1. Please do your research. This is not an F1, this is an F2. It's just painted blue to look like an F1. Well, not for that purpose, but it does. It's the EMG edition of the F2. I just like the blue better. I used to have an F1, so I just like the blue better. And it's the red F2s were out of stock when I bought this one, so I was like, oh, you know what? You know, the best of both worlds. I get blue. So also, forward bias nozzle, of course. I like the blue look. It matches. It's nice. It's a nice contrast with the gold, honestly. So is the red, but everyone has the red, and these are a little bit less common. Might make a return, my boy, my boy. You already know I got you. Dude, if you make a return, that'd be so sick. Need to do a cleansing at Battalion. There's a bunch of wannabe Panda kids that are calling out DSK and all that for cheating and stuff, and it's totally retarded. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna give my opinion on like all the stuff with like, you know, on some of the unknown guys getting banned. I'm not even gonna get into that because I'll probably just get hate from people, but it's whatever. I don't give my opinion on that. I'll stay neutral. Anyway, continuing on, I have a black amped Airsoft IGL in my gun. I couldn't find anyone to do a grip connect for me, so I just bought this, and it sticks out a little bit farther than I like, but it's whatever. It doesn't leak at all. Super handy. I had the exact same one on my F1 before I sold it, so yeah, it's pretty nice. It doesn't leak at all, so it's nice. I have a black Speed Airsoft adjustable trigger, the HPA version in my engine. I'll be putting a spring in this later. That's kind of the point of this things. Yeah, Logan, for real. Dude, I miss rushing all together. You, me, and the boys. That's so good. And now that Jude's unbanned, dude, he can only play while Webster's there. But now that Jude Hendricks is unbanned, dude, us three, that would be a video. That would be a day to remember. Us three, because I don't think the three of us haven't actually played together. I don't think ever, have we? I mean, we've been together at the field before, but like the three of us haven't actually played all together before, unless I'm mistaken. But yeah, that would be super sick, dude. If you ever do, make sure to hit me up. Let's see here. Yeah, so speed trigger, pretty standard. These have been around for years. Nothing super special about it. I took my spring out because 90% any field that allows HPA nowadays is pretty much limiting them to semi only, and I've been told in full auto games before, like I can only go semi, and so I took my spring out and took basically all the play out, so I can just sit there and just do that. You can literally just tap the side and it goes off super fast. I've chronoed at 19 rounds a second on semi before, and for all the that can say that you can shoot faster than that, it's okay. I don't need a blade trigger for that. Anyway, on the back here we have a MAXX Stubby stock. I got this off of a MAXX S&T Stubby M4. Great beginner gun. As soon as I get some money back, I'm going to buy one and do a full review on it. That is a great gun. Best beginner gun by far, if you ask me. Anyway, yeah, I got my MAXX Stubby stock. It's got a real nice solid back. The door is kind of known to break on these, but this one hasn't yet and doesn't really show any signs of stopping, so yeah. I got my DeSantis sticker, of course. Best governor in all of America, hands down. Make America Florida. Let America be free. Enough of all these BS restrictions for COVID and all that stuff. It's total crap. So yeah, let's get rid of them. That pretty much completes the entire gun put together, or taken apart, I should say. So yeah, I'm gonna start taking it apart to put the spring in on my trigger, and then yeah, we'll get to work. So for those of y'all that are here sticking around and don't get bored by this stuff, thanks for watching. Alrighty, let's see here. Gonna take out our mag release first. Yo, Andrew, if you got a DeSantis hat, bro, I'll take it. I mean, unless you're selling it, I literally have like no cash. I dropped like, okay, for those of y'all that don't know, it's like, oh, you have such nice gear. Don't you have money to spend on stuff? I mean, yeah, I probably spent too much money on gear, but the point is, I just spent like, I spent like $1,000 in my car a couple days ago, and I'm about to spend like another $2,500. So, yeah, I'm pretty low on cash right now, especially since I'm not working while I'm in Greenville. So that's kind of unfortunate because there's been a lot of changes at my job recently, and honestly, it's up for debate whether or not I'll ever come back to work there. For those of y'all that don't know, that ever want to come see me at work or have ever come and see me at work, I know Jack has come and seen me at work before, but I work at Fisherman's Dock, the Mandarin location. It's on San Jose Road, San Jose Boulevard, and yeah, it's a great job. I love working there, but there's been a lot of changes recently while I've been up here at college, and a lot of my coworkers are not happy, and they are saying it's not worth coming back. So we'll have to see what all goes on with that. I really don't know. I really couldn't say. I'm just gonna kind of wait it out. I won't even be able to work until summer either way, because I mean, I would work every time I come back into town, but it's not really worth. If I'm back in town for a week, like in late March, I'll be coming back for a week for spring break, and so, you know, I'm not going to work for a week because I'm home for a week, and I don't want to spend even 2 days of that like working. My roommate and his girlfriend are probably coming down, so I'll be hosting them. And I might bring my roommate to play Airsoft, for sure. He said he wants to try it, and I've played up here like a couple times since I can't freaking see anything. But yeah, he's seen me play, and he's watched my gameplay. He watches my channel and whatnot, so yeah. Alright, I'm gonna still talk to him for a second. Where's my screwdriver? Oh, that's right, it got stolen. Great. Let's see. Screwdriver. Crap. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna look in my larger toolkit and see if I have a screwdriver. I hope I do. Alrighty. Let's see here. Woo! Ugh. Oh, look, extra parts. I have a SHS piston right here, Swiss cheesed. How about that? You always find something fun in your toolkit that you forgot about. If that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. Oh, look, and this is like a, I forgot all about this. JJ Moore made me this motor. I have no idea how he made it or where he got it from, but it's super fast. If you want this, it's, I'll take $20 for it, because it's like, it's got to be at least a 45K, because he put this in a build that had 12 to 1s for me, and, yeah, it shot like about 50 rounds a second. Like 45, 50 rounds a second, so I know it's at least a 45K. I can tell you that. It's super freaking fast. Let's see here. Screwdriver. Sweet! I knew it. Let's see. We need a different tip. That. And this is a long one too. Usually I have to use a short one. That's what she said. Ah, I'm blinding myself. What the frick? there we go. Alright, bet. Let's see here. Alright, we're going to pull the grip off. I only have one screw holding it in because when I use more than one screw in my grip, it like pulls the gearbox down for some reason and it traps my speed trigger, like makes it drag, so I only use one and it holds it on, so who cares. Alright, next is the Stubby stock. There's no particular order. For any of you that don't know how to disassemble a gun, there's no particular order you have to do this in. It's literally just a matter of preference. But the things that have to come out, your stock has to come off, so your the screw has to come out of your spring guide. Mag catch has to come off, and yeah, and your grip has to come off. When I first started teching and I like wanted to just take my gun apart and put it back together, like I seriously, it was ridiculous because like I didn't even like grasp the concept that like you had to like take off like the stock and your grip to like get like all your, like you take it all off to get your gearbox out. It was ridiculous. I've come a long way. I will not work on AEGs though. I had some guy DM me the other day, and he was like, "Yo, can you like make a high speed SSD for me?" I was like, "Heck no, brother." I know some people say, "Oh, AEG technique's not that hard," and it may not be, at least on the simple level, but I do not have the time right now to learn how to do that. I would like to in the future. I like to learn, and I am in love with Airsoft. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, if I can help it. If I ever do, it's likely because of money, and I would have to like sell my guns or something. But yeah. Some guy asked in my DMs the other day, he's like, "Yo, you trying to sell your gun?" And I was like, "Do I look like I'm trying to sell my gun?" Anyway, he offered me like $500 for it, and yeah, I told him to beat it because that's ridiculous. Anyway, I got our stock off. Yo, shout out to my boy. Yeah, the sticker is pretty sick. I got this off of Amazon. I got 2 of them for like $3 or something. Shipped for free from Amazon. I have one on the bumper of my car, and I have one on here, obviously, so it's pretty sick. I like it a lot. I did cut it down for the stock. I cut it down. It's usually bigger than this, but it was going to look weird if I didn't cut it down, so I cut it down. And yeah, I would love to get like almost like laser etching or something. Not necessarily to say it's 2024, but some kind of laser etching on my Stubby stock or a Stubby stock. Because the sticker, it's kind of weird because it's shiny. I don't know, it looks a little ghetto, but honestly, who cares? You're repping the best governor in America. Anyway, I'm gonna put my stock over here, the butt plate and the screw. We're gonna leave that there. I'm gonna take this little spacer off. Oh, what's up, Thomas? Wait a second. Thomas V. I can't see the names properly. Let's see. My laptop's on top of the shelf, and it's like it's running a cord to my phone right now, so it's like a super janky setup, bro. But like I wasn't even planning to live stream, and I was like, ooh, there's a live stream button, so why not live stream? Also, y'all hit me up if let me know in the comments if it gets like grainy or like my audio starts to go to crap or something. This is like my first or second time live streaming, so I don't really know how this is gonna go. Anyway, from here, you're gonna unplug your FCU. Oh yeah, it's the only reason I got confused is because I have like 2 other subscribers and their names are just like yours, so sometimes I get confused on whether it's you or not. And one of them, its name is like Thomas like FF4, and there's one other guy that has like Tom in his name, so I always get confused on whether it's you or not, because like they'll comment on my videos and I'm like, is that Noah or not? So either way, I just have to be like, yo, what's up, cuh? And then I'll have to be like, okay, it's like, I hope that was Noah. But yeah, so anyway, it's our FCU. I'll show you all my settings later if you want to see that. for those of you that know about settings and whatnot for Polarstar. Anyway, so we've got that off, and I don't have a pin in here for whatever reason. So now we'll just pull this out. Let's see here. Yep, just like that. Just kind of jiggle it forward a little bit. Cord's going to come out the back. There we go. So lower receiver. It's all good to go. I'm doing good, Noah. Doing good. I'm a little bit tired. I was up until 3 a.m. last night, but we were cooking burgers and stuff in my room. But we had a good time. Went to a basketball game. My roommate and my roommate's family's in town. They are hiking right now in North Carolina. It's about an hour away, and I was gonna go with them because they invited me, but I am not physically fit as them. And I have a car meet on campus at 3 o'clock that I have to go to. Well, I don't have to go to, I want to go to. I am live streaming just with the YouTube app on my phone. I opened up the YouTube app, and I just hit go live, and I named the stream, and yeah, it's pretty easy. I think it's coming out nice. From what I can see, I'm watching the stream live, so I can see y'all's comments on my laptop at the same time, but I'm using my phone to stream. So that way I can read y'all's comments at the same time. So I think it's working okay from what I can see. From what I'm watching, it looks fairly clear. So hopefully it's working okay. Anyway, let's see here. So I need that. Let's see here. Nope, not in there. Put it in here. Oh yeah, by the way, guys. Oh yeah, glad the stream quality is good. Glad to hear that. That's definitely a good thing. Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot. I said earlier that I was going to say why my gun is like so like set up like Milsim and stuff for Milsim and whatnot, like all the pec box and the light on the side instead of my TLR and whatnot. The reason for that is for those of you that know my gun well, it was all black, and it was like super sick and all this, super dope, worked fine. But then, out of nowhere, Jude Hendricks got unbanned. My homie Jude, he's been banned for a couple years. Finally got unbanned. So we played the last game of the day, and I used my SSG, and he used my F2 because his jack shoots way too hard for Battalion now. He shoots like 420 with a 3.8 on like 100 psi. It's retarded. It's ridiculous. I have a 1 generation old MacBook Air, Noah. But yeah, it works okay. It's got its quirks. I would have rather gotten a new one, but I might trade it in soon, honestly, or just sell this one private party and we'll see what happens. But yeah, anyway, so, and someone said, "What's with the tan lower? It looks weird." It wasn't my first choice. Jude dropped his barrel sock, and this random rental like bent over to pick it up, and I'll post this clip on. I'll post this clip soon of what happened. But yeah, so the guy, he like picked it up and he ran right in Jude's path as Jude was running back to spawn, and he headbutted my gun basically. The rental guy did, and he cracked my entire lower receiver in half. So the whole gun was like kind of bent. Yeah, it's been I had to take it off, and luckily I had a tan receiver, so I just swapped it out real fast. But it looked weird to kind of have the whole speed soft vibe, like the more CQV vibe for my gun with the tan receiver on there. So I was like, tan receiver, it looks a bit more Milsim. You know what? So I'm sponsored by Fiachi, so they sent me that tack light, and so I put that on there. I put my the pec box on there, my mock pec box, moved my EOTECH back a little bit, and I changed my trigger out from gold to black because the gold looked weird with the tan and the black. So I switched it out to black. I had a black one lying around. So as soon as I find, for some reason, the reason I haven't changed it back, because my gun's been like this for several months now, is because for some reason, as common as combat machine receivers are, they're super easy to work with, so I guess that's why they're in high demand right now. But I haven't been able to find a black combat machine lower that still has the selector in it and everything, like anywhere, because like, I mean, a couple people have come to me, they're like, hey, I have one, but it doesn't have the selector or the, you know, the front pin or anything. I'm like, well, I don't know, I don't need that. Like, I need the thing in there. I was like, oh yes, you can put a different selector in, but I like the one that's in there. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I haven't changed it back yet. And it's okay like this, you know. I'm fine with vibing with it for a while. But as soon as I find another black receiver, I'm gonna pull off the PEC box and the light, and I'm gonna switch back to my EOTECH and my TLR. But yeah, and then I'll drop my gold trigger back in, because the gold, like, I can show you, these are two totally different brands, but like, look how perfectly the gold on the MAXX hop up and the speed trigger like match up. It's like marvelous. Like, they're so perfect. I love it. And when you see like the gold hop up with like the trigger on the bottom, like, people notice that, and like, it is very like aesthetically pleasing. So I did that, and I love that, and that's the exact same look. Also, I want to change my gun back to all black because, yeah, I have looked in the broken rental box at Battalion. They haven't had any combat machine ones for a while. I haven't looked at about a month since I've been up here at college, but that's where I got my original one, and it was in super good shape. I got it for $5. But after it got cracked, I was looking in the box. I've asked JJ and Cameron to be on the lookout for one for me. But yeah, if you find a black combat machine lower, one of the previous gen ones, please. That's another thing. I know I sound picky, but like, the newer gen ones have like a glossy finish and have the weird looking magwell. I don't want one of those because it'll mismatch. I need a previous gen one, so it's kind of like the matte finish, and whatnot. But anyway, it's not a super huge deal. But if you find one, DM me on the Instagram at Crazy Asian Airsoft. Anyway, trigger there. This is a standard VT trigger. I drilled a screw into the back too to shorten the trigger pull. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, I just drilled a screw into the back. Nothing super impressive. I don't know if it's going to focus or not, but y'all can probably see the little bump. I screwed a screw in the back. Nothing super impressive. It does shorten the pull though. Alright, let's get to taking this thing apart. Let's see. Where are my hex key bits? Oh, I see. Alrighty. Let's see here. If you guys have any questions about anything Airsoft related, or my opinions on stuff, or whatever you can think of, just drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my ability. Because I'm bored today. I have time to kill until 3 o'clock. I won't be streaming that long, but yeah, I'll just be on here and chat with y'all. Let's see. Alright, so we got this hex key. Most of y'all, I'm not really going to explain this process to y'all because my video on how to install a speed trigger into a gun is pretty self-explanatory. Hang on, 1 second. Retarded hallmates keep opening my door. Dang, Noah, your charger broke. You should get one off of Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. I find so many good things on there. As long as the person can meet in person so you can try it out. And make sure to bring, I don't know, make sure to bring one of your brothers or something so that way you don't get mugged. Meet at a bank or somewhere crowded so that way you don't get mugged. The combat machine upper and lower, I mean, it's not the most, let's see. I mean, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. It's identical to this tan one, just in black, and it has a matte finish. It's not a glossy finish at all. The newer gen ones have, you know what? I'll put on my Instagram. Let's see. I didn't set it this way, but my live stream, like the way the live streaming on YouTube goes, is it doesn't allow the posting of links. But if you have Instagram, you can send it to me through Instagram, and I'll take a look and see if it's the right one. I'll put a post on my story when I stop streaming, and say, look, hey, I'm looking for a combat machine loader, because yeah, they're pretty easy to find, but finding one that's in decent enough condition and that still has the selector switch and the front pin is actually harder. Alright, cool. Yeah, if you can send that to me on my Instagram at Crazy Asian Airsoft, that'd be great, because I cannot view links through the stream. YouTube doesn't allow it. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, let's see. Where's my magnet plate? Oh well, I don't need it. Let's see. Alright, so we're gonna take our screws out of here. I hate taking screws in and out. It just takes forever. It's ridiculous. This is why I sped it up in my video where I installed a trigger, because no one wants to sit there and watch me unscrew these for 3.5 minutes. I need to get a new drill, because the drill I have now is my dad's, and it doesn't have an adapter for these bits. Yeah, it'd be better for it to have the selector, but if it doesn't, it's not the absolute end of the world. I'll get JJ to throw one in for me. Just because installing selectors, honestly, is a pain in the butt. Because there's a screw on the inside, like in there. It's kind of hard to see. There's a screw in there though, and like how are you supposed to get an angle on it when like you have like an inch of space there? So yeah, it's kind of difficult. That's the only reason I'm looking for one with a selector. Otherwise, I wouldn't care, because I know how to install a selector, obviously. But yeah. Yeah, no, there's some good ones on there. I bought new chargers for my mom before. Like, people will sell new ones on there too sometimes. They'll just like get one with their phone and they're like, oh, I already have one, I'll just, sell it, which, their loss, my gain. But yeah, I've bought stuff for my mom off there. Yeah, all that kind of crazy stuff. Alright, so I got my screws out. We're going to turn the gearbox over, because everything lies on the other side, including the trigger board. So then we're just going to lift. We're going to lift this up, just on one side of the gearbox, all good in the hood. So we're going to leave that to the side. Everything's all good. I'm going to pull my trigger out real fast. Pretty self-explanatory there. Looks pretty good to me. I mean, so it's not very dirty, because I play indoor like 90% of the time, but I have yet to use my F2 outdoor since I properly tuned it. The last time I played with my F2, it was like still stock settings, still in an open bolt. I got it to shoot fairly straight and really high FPS. Like, I was shooting, last time I played, I was shooting like 415 with a 2.5. So yeah, it was pretty fun. We had fun last time we went, until I saw a snake. Then I ran away, because I hate snakes. If you think I'm a wuss, then that's fine, because I hate snakes. Anyway, we're not here to talk about how I'm afraid of snakes. So, to make a trigger spring, because I don't think I have any with me, because Speed makes them. Well, Speed includes a spring with every trigger, because you're technically like supposed to use a spring. But honestly, like, a lot of people are using them without now, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's really easy to lose them. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Ooh, no freaking way! I do have one. It looks like it's been cut. That's another thing you can do too. Yes, Noah, I do have Discord. I can, if you message me on my Instagram, or if you text me or something, because I think you have my number. If you do, you can text me and I'll send you the link to my Discord, or whatnot. Let's see here. Let's see if this spring works. College is going well. Let's see here. Ow. I gotta take the play out of my trigger real fast. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll retune it later. Alright. Put some play back in. Alright, see. Yeah, college is going good. Classes are really ramping up, like the homework load. Like the last 2 weeks before this week, like the 2 weeks before the one that we're in right now that we're finishing up, sucked. Like because of Bible conference this week, which went from Tuesday through Friday, so that was Tuesday through yesterday. Like they literally, like they gave us like 2.5 weeks worth of homework, and I still have a lot to do. But this week was Bible conference, so we just had like hour-and-a-half sermon or like sessions 3 times a day at 10 o'clock, 1:30, and 7. And we just pretty much do that all day. And they call it a break, but there's really not enough time between, each session to do much. So like it's not really enough time to like go off campus and do stuff because you only have a few hours. And even if you do, you feel like you're rushed and whatnot. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Is Discord safe? It's a good way. If you're in really big servers with a lot of people, they can be unsafe as far as you'll find the far extreme is like child predators, obviously, but like sometimes you'll find people that are just shady and whatnot. But I'm in several Discord servers where like they have like less than 100 people or like just over 100 people, and I know all of them, and they're all like they're totally safe. Like I wouldn't be afraid of getting scammed or anything like that. That's mostly Airsoft. I'm part of like 8 Discord servers, and like 2 that I have, those are not Airsoft related, but like the other 6 are Airsoft related. So like, I don't know. Like any social media platform, Discord is definitely something to be taken with a grain of salt. Before joining servers and stuff, like I would definitely like get your parents' permission and like let them know, hey, kids in here probably have foul mouths and stuff, because like I joined Discord and like my parents like weren't like, they kept a close eye on it because like it was easy to see like messages come through and stuff, and it wasn't always like inappropriate, like sexually inappropriate or like violent or like racially inappropriate stuff, but a lot of it was like kids like just swear up a storm nowadays. So yeah, if your parents aren't cool with that kind of thing, then it's it's something to run past them, or at least let them know like, hey, like I want to use this platform. Or the good thing about it, Noah, I will say this, what I did when I got Discord, my parents were like, hey, some kids have some foul mouths and stuff, like we're not super cool with that. So I said, all right, if you want to keep a closer eye on it instead of checking my phone, you can sign in on multiple devices at once. So I signed into it of course I'll sign in on my phone and my laptop, and then I downloaded Discord on my dad's phone when he was still alive, and I signed into it on there, and he could see, like if I sent a message from my phone, he would immediately see as if he had sent it on his phone, so he could literally see like a live feed of what I was sending and what I was seeing. So it was kind of like a live accountability thing. So that actually worked really well, and I still have Discord to this day, and only a couple of them are guaranteed to be clean, but most of them are, it's a little bit different because, once you get older and stuff, your parents are like, do at your own risk. Is the F2 better than the Jack? New to HBA, try to get into it, a little confused on what has the best performance. Yes, I will sing it from the rooftops. The F2 is better than the Jack. The Jack, amazing engine. Unarguably the best single-cylinder engine on the market. Don't even get me started on the F1. The F1 sucks butt. It's terrible. However, I will say the Jack is an amazing engine. If you give it a good barrel setup, if you give it a tight bore barrel, like a MAXX hop hub or like a Pro-An or a VFC or Krytac hop hub, and a good bucking, like a Maple Leaf bucking, a G&G green, something like that, amazing gun. It will, and the good thing about Jacks is you don't really have to tune them that much. You can, I've had a Jack before, I didn't have it for very long before I sold it. I bought it and I had already pre-sold it to someone else, but they wanted me to tune it and shoot it, like take it on a game day for them, which I was like, huh, what a shame. So I left it on stock settings. I used it with a MAXX hop-up, a ZCI 602 barrel, and a G&G green bucking, and that gun shot beams. Like, that thing was great. I had it set for like 50 rounds a second, and for those of you that are local to Jacksonville and you know JJ Moore, his son Gator runs a Jack, and he runs his at like 70 to 80 RPMs. It's crazy. It's literally just like all across the field. It's retarded. It's literally like, people want to go off about my semi, but like, dude, his full auto is like otherworldly. Anyway, the point is, he did a lot of tuning to get that RPS, like to get it efficient and stuff, because his Jack is pretty efficient. He runs pretty low PSI. Usually Jacks like to run, single solenoid engines in general like to run higher PSI and heavier BBs, because the nature of single solenoid engines is that single solenoid allows for less adjustability, and yes, JJ is Battalion's one of their techs. Yes, I usually go to JJ for private work. No, the full auto limit is 30 at Battalion, but a lot of kids have their guns tuned higher, because if you're just playing semi, then it doesn't matter what your full auto is, and 95% of the games are semi. For full auto games, my gun is set to 35, because that's just what I have it tuned for, and I chrono at like 34, and the refs aren't going to say anything about 4 RPS. And I mean, I don't know. It's neither here nor there. There are some kids that they like get away with like running like 50 or 60. I think it's a little ridiculous. Like, obviously, I think the refs are letting them run that high, because there's no way that you can shoot that fast and you not hear the difference. Because people are running, like, the limit is 30. I run 35. My gun chronos at like 34 or 33. So it's really, you know, there's some kids that run like 45, 50. And honestly, I don't care about that rule. I think it's a dumb rule to have an RPS cap, especially because, like, if your gun is shooting, like, as long as you're under the FPS limit, I don't think it should matter. That's my personal take on it. Like, AEGs, if the limit is 400, as long as you're not shooting 400, as long as you're not shooting over 400, I personally don't have any problem with it. I mean, if you're running 400 at 50 rounds a second, I couldn't care less. I mean, I mean, people say, oh, it's dangerous, you know, but it just hurts. It's just like a, you know, bee sting. It's not like super painful. At worst, it's like a bee sting or whatever. It's, you know, it could be worse. Just, I tell people to toughen up, because for outdoor, like, I'll crank my reg to like 120, which I don't do that often because it hogs air, but I'll shoot like 580 FPS at like 40. I'll like turn mine up to 40, because at Barracks Field, like, you can shoot as hard as you want. Your MED has to go up, and that's fine with me. Like, I'll just sit there and I'll beam people from across the field with like 250 feet of range, and I'm totally okay with that. And they are too, so it's fine. I mean, it's all about what your preference is. But like, yes, the limit is 30 for full auto. Binary is banned. You can thank Purdue Airsoft for that. He had his DSG there for a while, and he was shooting 28 rounds a second on binary, which of course is absolutely ludicrous. But he was burning through a motor a game, so he no longer has that particular DSG. But anyway, back to the Jack being better. No, I'm sorry, the F2 being better than Jack. The F2 is better. I think the F2 is better than every other HVA engine on the market. And if you're listening, my brother, it's better, and here's why. I think the F2 is better. It's double solenoid, and I know lots of people say, oh, well, you know, the Fusion, get the Fusion. Dude, the Fusion is like $520 or like $530 out of the box, brand new. And you have to tune them to absolute heck. And to get them to perform like to their max capability, you have to buy a red nozzle, or no, not a red nozzle per se, but you have to get an upgraded nozzle, like outside of the stock nozzle. And you want to get a different poppet to increase air efficiency, because out of the box, Fusion engines are they're about as efficient as Jack, if not worse. Like, they suck. Like, they absolutely hog air. So, Uh, the F2 is the improvement of the Fusion engine. The F2 is dual solenoid, so you get all that availability for adjustability. You can shoot like DMR, like sniper level of FPS, or you can go down to like 200. It's insane. Of course, your barrel setup depends on that a little bit. Did you have to mod the gear? No. The G&G gearboxes, and VFC gearboxes. Polarstar uses VFC to test all their products, like VFC guns, gearboxes, and bodies, and all that stuff. So if you have VFC, then you know 100% that it's going to fit. G&G also fits no problem every time. I've installed probably 30 engines into G&G gearbox shells, never had one single problem with fitment. There are certain brands that you will have to mod, like grind out with, like you'll have to grind them out a little bit. Krytac is one of those. Krytac is the main one. Krytac, you can get engines to fit in there. You just have to do a little bit of grinding around where the trigger board goes. And the same thing goes if you want to install like a Gate Titan for an AEG in there. Like the same thing as with Gate Titans. Gate Titans drop right into G&Gs and VFCs. But Krytacs, sometimes you have to do Krytacs, you have to grind out, do a little bit of dremeling to get a Titan or a Polarstar trigger board to fit. That's why they came out the Aster. The Aster fit drops right into a Krytac. The Asters kind of suck, though, from what I've heard. But yeah. But the F2 is so much better because the F2 comes with the low flow poppet and the low flow nozzle. And that makes it extremely air efficient out of the box. Super easy to tune. My setting, you know what? I'll show you all my settings real fast. I don't need to have it plugged into my gun to show you all. Grab my battery real fast. I have pretty simple settings. I have different settings for depending on what kind of game I'm playing, or what terrain or whatnot, what distances I need to reach. But if y'all can see here, yeah, right there. Let's see. I'm looking at my live stream to see if y'all can see that very well. Let's see, I'll turn it back this way. So of course it's set to FE. I'm looking here. My rate of fire is at 35. Let's see here. Semi rate of fire off, because you want to be, if you turn that on, so if you turn it to 1, now you can no longer spam your trigger. That keeps you from spamming it. It puts like a millisecond of delay. So I keep that off for obvious reasons. That's your semi burst mode. You can set that between, you can set your semi to full auto, or any burst between 1 shot of semi or 2 to 9 round burst. Same thing, that's full auto. Don't know what that does. No one knows what that does. Poppet dwells at 12. My nozzle dwells at 12. I forget what this one is. That's also set at 12. I have 12s across the board, and I have closed bolt on. That's another thing. F2s can go closed bolt. It's a closed bolt engine, just like the Fusion engine and the Vulcan V12, which is also a good engine, but like the Fusion, you have to mod it to absolute heck. But the point is, also easy to install. People say, oh, the F2, like if you want to install it in a Krytac, you have to mod it stuff. Dude, the amount of troubles that people have installing Fusion engines is insane. It's literally, you have to grind out parts in the body. Like if you want to install one in an EMG F1, go to JJ Moore's channel, his YouTube channel, or his TikTok, like Airsoft at JJ Moore. It's completely retarded. The amount of grinding and dremeling that he has to do on an EMG F1 to get a Fusion to fit. And he's good at it, so like he would say, oh, it's probably, it's pretty easy, but honestly, like, you should not have to grind, 1/3 of a pound of metal off of your gun, just to get a Fusion engine to fit. But this, if you have an ARP9, like Crazy Zach Airsoft, I'll be installing his jack for him in his ARP9, and I will it's probably going to take me like 15 minutes, because like just dropping it right in, it's like literally dummy easy. Like when you just look at it, I'm going to take his gearbox, and if he doesn't need I'm going to throw all his internals into a bag, and I'm going to wipe it out, and I'm going to drop this in. This is the same concept as the jack. Like this is trigger board, IGL, spring guide, engine. And this is, there has 2 solenoids, so it's super tunable. It's crazy easy. It's crazy easy. I love it. I will sing, and also the F2. The F2. That's another thing. Very important price. The Fusion engine starts at $520, and that's before you've bought a nozzle or a poppet, or like a S2 banjo. You want like a lightning banjo or something to make it more air efficient, because still it will hog air still. The F2 don't need any of that. Comes pre-installed with the nozzle and the poppet. They're both low flow. You'll be back in black before you realize it. Super easy, and $435 for F2. Done. Then you just have to buy a QD with it. I mean, I just bought an IGL, but the engine itself, as far as like the actual engine components, $435 versus like arguably like $580 to like $610, somewhere around there. Once you bought a poppet and a nozzle, it might be even more than that. And then getting it to fit, but this is guaranteed to fit. If you want to install, if you wanted to see what's easier to install, a Fusion engine into a ARP9 or F2 into ARP9, F2 all the way. Guarantee you I could have a jack in an ARP9 shooting beams in half the time it would take you to put a Fusion engine in. Super easy, great for someone getting into HPA. The F2 is definitely worth saving up for. A jack is a great starter engine. Jacks last forever if you take care of them, as do all the HPA engines. But is it compatible with tunable trigger? Yes. The gearbox shell and the engine, yes, perfectly fine. This is an adjustable speed trigger in here right now. MAXX triggers also work just fine, so that's of no issue at all. I'm about to tune this in a little bit. Just put a spring in just for the heck of it. But yes, yes they do. They're compatible 100%. They will work just fine. But yes, once again, I will sing the praises of the F2 all day and night. I love the F2. They're great. If I had this is my second F2, and I had another one there for a while that I traded to Cameron Padalano as a partial trade for a new gun that he is building me. And most of you probably already know this, but Cam is currently building. He's technically done with it, but we're just working on a couple nozzle issues, FPS drop issues, on a high-speed SSG for me. I'll tell you all about. I'll make a video on that gun once he's totally done with it. I plan to pick it up next weekend when I come home. The macro line is, it gets kinks easy, and it gets creased easy, and that cuts off your airflow, drops FPS, and also the quick disconnect pops off of those easily. So honestly, I would save up the extra $20 and get an IGL, because these cannot leak, pretty much, and they look nice. They have 101 different color combinations, cool designs. For $1 extra, you can get your name put on it. Mine says Crazy Asian. What is it? It's kind of rubbed off after a while. Wait, where is it? Is it completely rubbed off? I'll be a son of a gun. It totally rubbed off. Anyway, my IGL's old though. But yes, I would totally save up and get one right off the bat. It will save you in the long run. That's something that people. That's one thing that people love to hate on HVA for, is the price point. Oh, it's so expensive. $430 for, an engine, $25 for a trigger. If you want to upgrade your trigger, another $25 for IGL. All this stuff. And then you have to spend, $150 on a new or on a air setup. You got to buy a regulator and a tank and an airline. What people don't realize, and I did not realize this from the get-go when I first started Airsoft, it is worth it, and here's why. It may not seem this way, but it is the more cost-effective option, in my opinion, because while yes, you might be able to spend up to $800 if you really wanted to on a really good HPA setup, get it properly tuned, great barrel setup, good tank. And if you take care of it, you know, lube it once every 50,000 rounds or whatnot, it will last you forever. Like Jude Hendricks, he's had his jack for years now. It's probably been 5-6 years, probably longer. Same engine, still kicks butt, still chronos at like 420 feet per second with a .38. It's completely insane. It's retarded, and his gun is set to like 60 rounds a second. It's ridiculous. And there are still people. JJ put a video on it, a short of it, a few months ago. Some guy, they worked on a first gen Fusion engine, and I know it sounded like I was dogging on the Fusion engine earlier. Believe me, they're great. It takes a lot to get them to be great, and the F2 just comes great out of the box. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. But the point is, F2s, jacks, F1s, Fusion engines, Kytheras, they will last you, or pretty much just about any HPA engine. I've only owned Polarstar products because I prefer to only own the best. But they will last you forever. If you take care of them, don't abuse them, it will last you forever. Like no cap. Like, they will last you forever. They will last you years upon years. And the thing that I never realized is I stuck to AEGs for the first 3 or 4 years that I played Airsoft, and I never realized how much money it ends up costing you in the long run to have, because parts break, motors, you burn out motors. If you want to, I'm a super trigger heavy person, I'm a trigger heavy player, and that works to my advantage. Not for everyone, but that actually works to my advantage because I'm not super athletic. But if I'm shooting, if I want to be able to sit there and just spam the trigger all day long, I've burned out 2 and 3 motors a day on a well-built AEG, and it's just, with an HPA gun, I mean, you can literally sit there. You could sit there for weeks, months, and just sit there and spam the trigger, and the gun would never give up. That's because with an AEG, there's 101 moving parts. Not literally, but there's a lot of moving parts. There's gears, pistons. I don't know, your spring can snap. Your piston. Your gears. There's a lot of things that could break. And believe me, honestly, I prefer AEGs. Believe me, but I don't run AEGs as a primary anymore because of the price. I built this F2 for myself. I bought a really good air tank setup, and guess what? Nothing is broken. Nothing is broken on it in 2 years, and we're still going strong. I haven't even lubed it yet because I'm not playing as often anymore. I'll probably lube it soon, but the gun still shoots beams, just as good as the day I built it, and I love it. I haven't looked back. So, but yeah. So you could end up spending, $800 might sound like a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. If you wanted to spend that on an HPA setup, but you don't have to. But if you did, yes, it is a lot. However, if you're not careful, and if you actually did some math, and I'm sure if I went back and looked through my receipts, I've probably spent a lot more than that fixing my high-speed SSGs and all this stuff, and just fixing AEGs. One part breaks. I had a trigger spring break once. Open up the gearbox. Oh, my mainspring is snapped in 3 parts. That's why I was only shooting 200 FPS. Just 101 things. So that's why, if you're a new player, I know everyone says just get a Lancer Tactical, or get a combat machine, or get an ARP9 or a VFC, and just roll with that. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend. They're good guns, but if you're gonna get an AEG to start with, please don't buy a combat machine or a Lancer Tactical or something like that. Please get a VFC Avalon or a Krytac CRB or something. Those guns last forever stock. And KWAs are okay too. They just come with an annoying fuse. Just go ahead and get that fuse bypassed. Buy it, get the fuse bypassed. Don't even shoot it, because if you use anything bigger than this, it literally blows up. It's retarded. Believe me, I've seen it. Uh, but yes, I would recommend HPA for new players because you could tell your parents. Tell your parents. Crazy Asian Airsoft said from experience that you could spend less, you could spend more over time, or you could spend less at once. And it might, it's like, Dad, I can buy this airsoft setup for $300 and be ready to play, or I can save up and spend $800 and never have to fix anything. Almost never, Spending money on a high kappa is retarded. But I don't run high kappas anymore for the same reason that I don't run AEGs. They break too often. So many moving parts, nozzles, air loss, all that crap. Yeah, $800 on a high quality HBA setup. I have put together on Hop Up and stuff. I put together like a really good set. Like if you want the same setup as my gun, hit me up on Instagram. I will send you a list of everything that's in my gun to make it shoot beams. I'll send you my settings. Dude, trust me, F2 is worth it. It's worth it to get a good hop up. MAXX hop up's the best you can buy. Freaking love my MAXX hop up. I used to have what did I used to have? I think I had a Pro One for a while. Pro Ones are also good. Those are a good budget option. But everyone was getting a MAXX, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll hop on the MAXX train. It looks cool. Dude, the looks are going to be the least of your concerns. When you jump on the MAXX train, and you get this MAXX hop up right here, game changer, dude. I didn't realize that my gun could shoot any straighter than it did before until I got a MAXX, and I was like, holy crap. MAXX hop up, absolute beams. People swear by the Tokyo Marui pistols because of performance. Why did you immediately, and why you immediately buy an F? Yeah, exactly. Dude, honestly, I feel like high kappas in general, and Tokyo Marui is probably the best. I think people get the best the best high kappa mixed up with the most easily upgraded, because it's not necessarily the same thing. The TM is easily upgraded, but dude, like, it's so easy for people. I've seen people spend upwards of $2,000 on a pistol, and guess what? You should play aggressively with it. By the end of the day, you've broken a nozzle, or you have an air leak somewhere, or your mags are, leaking air, something else. So I don't run high kappas anymore for the same reason that I don't run AEGs as a primary anymore. I do have a high-speed SSG getting built for me right now. It is a backup gun, though. It's for when someone else is using my Polarstar, or Polarstar's not allowed at the field. I have an AEG being built. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But yes, high kappas are ridiculous, in my opinion. I think they're cool. They look dope when people spend a lot of money on them. I certainly agree that, like some guy, he had like a TM gold match, and he'd put like a rose gold slide and a rose gold like magwell. So it was like silver and rose gold. Coolest high cap I've ever seen. Some guy at Battalion had one. Literally the coolest high cap I've ever seen. I was like, dang, I would love to have that. But I have to tell myself, crap's gonna break, dude. It's gonna break. And it'll break. And some people say, oh, it won't, it's not gonna, if you get it built right, it won't break that often. It basically will. And even if it doesn't, it's still gonna break sooner than a Polarstar will. Guaranteed, every time, 100%. And I just think it's one of those things that, it's like, what are you willing to spend your money on? Something cool now, or you just want to save up and, buy what's best? You can get what's good now. You want to say no to yourself now so you can say yes to yourself later. And that's what I wish I had done. I spent all my money fixing my AEGs endlessly. I've had like 6 different SSGs now. And I still have one. I still have the gearbox of my Barracks SSG, which is for sale, by the way. It still works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just selling it because I need money to fund the other one. There's nothing wrong with it. If anyone wants to buy that, hit me up on my Instagram. But the point is, it's about what you want to spend your money on. But yeah, I used to have a high kappa. Stuff broke within an hour of me going outside and shooting it. It's ridiculous. Controversial or unpopular airsoft opinions. Dude. Alright, put your seatbelt on. Probably my biggest one that people have hated on me before. Rentals and new players are not the future of airsoft. People that say that, now, like, usually people say that in the comments of, like, mag dump videos where, like, guys, the kids in California, like, get their Polarstars and turn them to, like, 60 rounds a second, and they, like, you know, they just, like, beam a bunch of kids. I am not cool with that. That's ridiculous, and I think mag dumping in general is stupid unless you're doing it with your friends. If you're with your friends, who gives a crap? If you're playing a private game, who gives a crap? If you set the rules for that and you know you want to play Guerrilla or something, go to it. I honestly couldn't care less. None of my friends will do a Guerrilla game with me, but that's fine. But I have no problem with that. But if you're going in to random players and doing it just to get edgy clips, you're a retard, and you need your pacifier put back in your mouth, and you need to give mommy back her credit card, because you're not cool because you go out and you dump kids. However, people that get in the comments of those videos and they say, "Oh, you know, you're a terrible person. Rentals are the future of airsoft. We need to coddle them." That's also bullcrap if you ask me, because fields that cater to rentals are pushing away their foundational player base. Players like me, players like my buddy Logan, players like Jude Hendricks. We've all been banned at one point or another because, like, Jude, the first time he got banned was for playing too aggressively. Like, he never actually broke any rules from my understanding, and he got banned because it was basically him versus a birthday party full of kids, and he came around a corner and, like, you know, shot them all, and he kept running, and the kids got hurt, because airsoft does hurt, you know, to a certain extent, and they all went, you know, whining and crying to mommy and daddy, and mommy and daddy were mad that their kids got hurt, so they went and they told Mr. Webster, if you don't ban that kid, you know, we're never coming back, and they probably weren't going to come back ever again anyway. You know, birthday parties, a lot of them, like church groups, birthday parties, you can't coddle them if you're a field owner. They're going to come, they're going to play for a few rounds, and then they're going to leave. If they come back, it'll be like a few times a year. Players like me, Jude, and Logan, and a bunch of the teams, you know, like, DSK, SLS, my boy JD, Christian, Tom on DSK, you know, we're out there every weekend, dude. Like, not so much anymore because I live out of state for college, but, like, when I was at home, I was going, like, once a week or sometimes twice a week. And, like, it's ridiculous. I've seen rentals get away with full autoing in semi games because they're rentals. You know, like, oh, they don't really understand the game. Well, you have to help them understand the game. Don't excuse them breaking the rules. You know, I got banned one time from Battalion. Not a lot of people know this because I didn't make a video about it because I didn't have my GoPro with me that day. But I got banned once because this rental was full autoing me in a semi game the entire day, like in the back of the head after I was dead. And I was excusing, I was like, you know what, he's a new player, and I had to go and tell him a couple times, and other players did too. Like, hey, make sure to keep your gun on semi-auto, and they would flip it over for him. And he just kept full autoing people, and there was a night game we were playing at Battalion, and I was walking back to spawn with two other guys, and he just kept spraying us after we were dead. Our hands were in the air, our guns were in the air, and he just kept spraying us for some reason. I don't know what his deal was. But I got fed up, because, I mean, that crap hurt. So I turned around and I beamed him on full auto at 55 rounds a second, and I was the one that got kicked out for that. And we had told the refs, like, multiple times that day, this guy, you know, someone needs to have a talk with him, teach him how to play right, you know, and all this crap, and they never did. So, I mean, it's one of those things, like, rentals, we can't coddle them because they're not going to come back consistently. I mean, yes, I am 100%, don't get me wrong, I'm 100% in support of like helping, like if a rental is on the field or something and he's having a problem with his gear, or he wants to know, you know, what kind of gun do you have, you know, like, you know, or what are some tips to play better, dude, I will help you the entire day, and I've done it 100 times. But I don't think the rules of a field or field layout or gun restrictions should be catered towards new players. We are the ones that come weekly, sometimes daily. I've seen kids at battalion before, they go daily, after school, every day. When if battalion is open during the weekdays, or in the summer or something, kids will come every day. Those are the kids you need to keep around. If they're not toxic people and they're spending their money there because they love to come there and play Airsoft, and they're not sitting on their butts all day playing Call of Duty or, doing something else unproductive, dude, Airsoft is a great thing. And these kids, they want to come play Airsoft. Those are the kids that you need to keep around. They're keeping your business afloat. They're the ones who are your faithful customers. They're the ones that are bringing their friends. I've had people come down from Athens, Georgia. I've had people come down from Tennessee because of my channel. I've had people come from Alabama because of my channel, and they wanted to play with me, and they came to battalion. And guess what? They spent probably over $100 at battalion for BBs, entry, food, you name it. And I'm not trying to be conceited when I say this. I'm the type of player that you need to keep around. We bring friends with us, all this kind of stuff, and we just want to play the game how we're supposed to play the game. We play the game aggressive. It's an aggressive game. You're using toy guns. So, the moral of the story is I don't think rentals are the future of Airsoft. Easing them into it and having them fully understand the game, it usually starts with them getting angry because they got overshot or they don't understand the rules. We need to make sure that we ingrain the rules into their head and be like, hey, if you got overshot a couple times, it's not necessarily on purpose. If you're walking back to spawn and there's people that are alive around you, you get sprayed a little bit, yeah, it's gonna happen. Just walk it off. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. And I feel like so many rentals don't understand the rules, they don't listen or whatnot, or they forget, and that's okay. But I think we just need to tell them, hey, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. And I just feel like when they get hurt or something, when they say that Airsoft hurts, and then like at battalion, now the HBA limit is 360 with a .2. Completely retarded. For anyone that says that HBA hurts more than AEG at the same FPS with the same BB is a complete retard. It's all in your head, and people get scared when they see the Magnum videos on YouTube, and they think that every person that wears a dye and a pig brig and has a Polarstar is, let's be honest, a douchebag. And it's not true. I wear a pig brig, I have a Polarstar, I do my best not to play like a total douche. It's and it's hard. It's hard for us, like our, genuine good players like us that are, trying to keep, Airsoft going. We love to come play. We play regularly. It's hard for us when our image is, smeared, and the same thing goes for milsimmers. Like, people that wear all the military gear and stuff. I have absolutely no problem. I think it's a little bit dumb. That's just my personal opinion. But you know what? That's okay. You can think your other person's loadout is dumb. If you think it's dumb that I wear a Hawaiian shirt, when I go play Airsoft, which I do, you can think that's dumb. But you know what? That's okay. And I'm totally fine if guys want to wear military gear and stuff, because guess what? It's Airsoft. It's all a bunch of teenagers and grown men and women running around and shooting toy guns at each other. We're playing war. We're playing dress up, and we're playing war. It's ridiculous to think that you should scorn another person because of what loadout they have or because of the way they play. That goes for milsimmers and speed softers. I think it's ridiculous either way. But yeah, that's probably my main one. I get a lot of hate for saying that rentals aren't the future of Airsoft, but that's my argument for why they aren't. I'm happy to welcome them in, but we shouldn't coddle them at the expense of faithful players that have been playing for years on end, like I have. I've been playing for 8 years. Opinions on the Airsoft cheater pandemic. The cheater pandemic, I think, I don't know, I haven't watched very many cheater videos lately, but I will agree, and a lot of people will say this, that when you look on, if you look on YouTube and you search Airsoft, like, cheater videos, like, it's the first, 30 results. I really don't know what to say. I know there's a lot of them, and I know it gets you views and stuff on YouTube. I hate that that's the reason people click and watch. It kind of stinks, and I'll be honest, my cheater videos have gotten, more views than my regular montages by a lot. And of course I understand why that is. People want to say, ooh, who's the cheater? I'll keep, the local guys will be like, oh, okay, I'll keep a lookout for him, and whatnot. And, like sometimes, like, it's like, oh, so why do you post them? It's like, well, I mean, I'm trying to get views. I'm trying to grow my channel and whatnot. I don't have a lot of cheater videos on my channel. I've seen some, honestly, what's that guy? Is it Airsoft Cam Man or Kicking Mustang? Great channel. I think his channel's super cool. I love watching that type of gameplay because it's like what Malrich used to be. But like literally every video is like he has a toxic player in it. And like I get it, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch people get mad, honestly. But I feel like I'm like, dude, like, don't you ever get tired of that? Like every single video, and I get it. It's not his fault that everyone rages, But I just feel like it's a little bit. I don't want to say. I guess you could say hurtful to the sport. It kind of cripples the growth of the sport a little bit. So many people are turning to paintball. My fraternity is going to play Airsoft or paintball here pretty soon. They're trying to decide which one to go play, and I'm pushing for Airsoft for obvious reasons. And they want to go play paintball because they're like, you can see the paint marks when you were hit, like so that way there's no cheating. I'm like, well, we're brothers, guys. Like hopefully there wouldn't be any cheating anyway. And Airsoft's cooler, and I already have Airsoft guns that are gonna blaze everyone. So, it's just. It's one of those things, you just want to have a little bit of discernment, and try and, that's why I'm trying to, I'm working on a video that I've been working on for a while, trying to say, like, cheating is not, the be-all, end-all for Airsoft. It doesn't happen as regularly as you might think. And I don't think every cheater is worth making a video over. I think a lot of people maximize on that. If you go to, like, a battalion, I usually encounter 1 to 2 cheaters every time I go, but I go and I play for, like, 10 hours. So, like, and I don't make a video on every cheater that I see. It would be repetitive, redundant, whatever you want to call it. And I just don't feel like it gives a good image when, you promote every single, cheater of that nature. So, honestly, my opinion is, I think they're part of it. I think there always will be, with, the difference between Airsoft and paintball, that being one of the major differences is, Airsoft is an integrity sport. And, I think also it's sometimes hard, people automatically assume you're a cheater if you don't call the first hit, and they make a rage video because you raged because they shot you like 80 more times because you didn't call the first one. And it's, I think that's dumb, and also sometimes people just genuinely don't feel it. And, that happens. That happens, it's a thing, it's not uncommon per se. But, yeah, I think it's part of the sport, and it unfortunately probably always will be as long as Airsoft is around. But at the same time, I definitely hope that we see a decline in Airsoft videos. I think like channels like US Airsoft and WAG Entertainment are big. They're onto something big with the third person stuff. And I think third person is very cool. I did a little bit here and there a few years ago on my channel, and I'm thinking about getting back into that because actually you don't have to pay to go play Airsoft if you're just filming third person of people. So I've considered getting into that. It's also a cost-effective option for content, but I think they're onto something big with that, and I think that would be super cool to see more of. So hopefully videos like that and, people doing cool builds. Big shout out to Airsoft GI for making videos like rate my build and stuff. And US Airsoft for making like, top 10, top 10 speed soft builds or top 10, MP5 builds, stuff like that. People I would much rather see videos like that, crowding Airsoft feed search results than cheater videos. because don't get me wrong, I mean, I love a good cheater video. I've posted a few myself. I feel like I've gotten the worst airsoft cheater I've ever seen on camera. If you just look up my airsoft cheater video on my channel, it's pretty plain to see. But anyway, yeah, the point is, yeah, they're part of it. I think they always will be. But yeah. Alright, so we got our trigger spring in. Yeah, y'all feel free to drop me more questions and whatnot, and I'll give my opinions or my answers to them and whatnot. Alright, we're going to feed that line through the back, our wiring harness. Gonna put your IGL through where the grip goes. Let's see. You're just going to drop that right in. It's going to snap in like that. Super easy. And then let's get started with, we'll do the stock. No, let's do the grip first. Yeah. Let's see. What patch, man? I have a lot of patches. What you talking about? I have my gun bag's full of them, bro. Dang, I'm tired. I was up until 3 a.m. last night. I slept until 11, but I was up until 3 because we were cooking burgers and watching YouTube. Let's see here. I need my lights on. Alrighty, we got our grip on there. All good. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's put our mag release back in. Let's see here. Drop that in on that side. Pass it all the way through. Hold it in with your finger. And then put our little spring in. Drop that on top. If you were to build a 13-to-1 ratio, how much C would you need to make it 400 FPS to still a decent rate of fire? I don't know what you mean by how much C. Maybe C rating on a battery? If I was going to build a 13-to-1 build, it's still 400 feet per second. Honestly, you could probably trying to think of the best way to do honestly, instead of putting a harder spring, honestly, like a M120 would probably be a good spring. My first SSG that I had built by Airsoft Barracks was had an M120 spring, and it shot 25 rounds a second at 400 feet per second on the dot. So, I mean, frick. I think if you wanted to do 13-to-1s, yeah, 13-to-1s, probably an M120 spring. I would probably say on 13-to-1s, you probably wouldn't need that big of a battery. Maybe something like a 1200 milliamp hour, like 30 to 40 C, maybe a 40 to 50 C, because yeah, because I had a 30K motor on 12-to-1s with this barrel setup on a 1300 milliamp battery. Yeah, a 25C would probably be fine. You might get you probably get low 30s with that. Honestly, instead of building your gun with a crap, can't get the words out. Instead of building your gun with a higher spring, like a heavier spring and stuff, because that puts wear and tear on your gearbox. You want to make sure the front by the cylinder is radiused so it doesn't crack. Unless you're using something super strong already, like a Krytac gearbox. I would go for a better barrel setup, because it might cost a little bit more. It's like, oh, I could just pop an M130 spring in there and shoot 420 FPS, and be done. And it's a $25 spring. Yes, but if you buy like a $120 barrel setup, which yes, it's more money, I get it. Your gun is shooting lower stress, and the barrel setup, a good hop up unit like a MAXX and a good barrel like a Prometheus, is giving your BB that extra. It's making up for the loss in FPS, because the gearbox on a normal barrel setup might shoot like 350. Because like my second Barracks SSG that I am selling right now, that gun had a crappy barrel setup on purpose because it was built for CQB, so it didn't really matter. That gun shot 350 on the dot. I popped in my Polarstar barrel setup, this one right here, and it shot like 410. So it's about your barrel setup. The barrel was really short, and it had the Lancer Tactical hop up, but a maple leaf bucking. And this one is maple leaf bucking, MAXX hop up, and a Prometheus barrel. So this is like a $130 barrel setup, give or take. And dude, the gun shot so much farther, so much faster. So it's, I would personally recommend spending more on a barrel setup than I would a higher spring. I feel like your gun will last longer that way. The gearbox that I have right now, that I'm selling, has just 12-to-1 gears, and a Matrix, a Rocket M130 spring, but it's been cut. So instead of using a weaker spring and it breaking in and being even lower, we put in a Rocket M130, which normally would shoot like over 400 FPS. We cut some coils off, and then now it's shooting like 350. Like it was shooting like 358, and then like after it broke in period, it literally shoots like 350 on the dot right now. So that I sold the body for that gun, but I still have the gearbox. The gearbox is perfectly fine, by the way. That's for sale. If you want to answer any questions about it, hit me up on my Instagram. But yeah, so I would, for 13-to-1s, if you're looking for that higher FPS, I would say have a gearbox built for you, or buy one that shoots, in the 360, 370 range, and then buy a nicer barrel setup, a longer barrel that's tight bore, at least 603 in bore width, and then buy like a MAXX hop up. Definitely worth it. That will reduce stress on your gearbox. So yeah, for sure. Good question. That's my personal take. The techs at Barracks probably know better. I'm sure that they would agree, because that's the way they built my gun. So they would probably concur. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, for those of you that aren't here, I am not an AEG tech. I know my way around. An AEG gearbox, a regular like a V2 gearbox and whatnot. Crap. But I do not tech on them. Not usually. I'll do something really small for a homie or something if it's an emergency and you literally have no one else to go to. Putting our mag release back in. Yeah, as far as C rating, that's something you'll just have to test. Probably, I don't know. Also depends on what motor, because and it also depends on what you define as decent rate of fire. The new LCT, no, the new LTAKs. Honestly, I wouldn't expect much. It's Lancer Tactical. They might be a little bit better, like the Lancer Tactical Pro line AEGs that they had there for a while. Those were decent. Those are about as good as a Matrix S&T, I would say, or like a combat machine. But honestly, I would say I would just play it safer and get something else. Because honestly, like, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, a company that's been consistently bad and finally made something that's potentially good. Let's try it out. And you spend your money on that, and you're taking a big gamble. Or you could go to a company like, or you could get a gun like a Matrix S&T, or a combat machine, or, I don't know, one of the new, who makes the new Daniel Defense, is it Sima? Sima, the new, Sima and Daniel Defense, the Mark 18 guns that they built, those are pretty sweet, actually. I actually want to get one of those. But honestly, I wouldn't chance it if it were me. They might be good. I mean, there's always that chance, but honestly, I wouldn't risk it personally. Also, I haven't seen the price point though. Do you know how much those are? I haven't seen an official price point as of yet. But like a Matrix S&T is like $130 if you get it on sale, and it goes on sale several times a month. So, like, honestly, like, I would just get one of those, because the only bad thing about those guns, well, the only weakness I should say, is that the MOSFETs burn out semi-quickly, and they're proprietary. Thank you, 100%. Just built a 13. Yeah, for sure, man. Just built a 13-1 20C battery. You'll pull it. The battery dies after like 8 or 9 shots. Something 25C. Yeah. That's also for long games. Like when I'm playing outdoor and I know like my stuff is gonna be really far away, like in my car or something. I have a 5000 mAh battery that I use. It's really big. I have to tape it to the side of my stock, but it lasts me all day, no problem. And that's a 40 to 50C. So yeah, I use that for long game days. How the frick did my screw get bent? What the crap? I don't know how that got there. Anyway, let's see. EMG high torque motor. Yeah, those high EMG and SHS motors, when they say high torque, like their version of high torque is still like a 30K or like a 28K, so they're still like relatively fast, and those will draw more power. So that's also probably why your battery's dying faster. Yeah, those are going to die faster. If you want a real, honestly, if you have a good tech doing like 12-to-1 gears and like an ASG 22K, that would be a super efficient, like clean running build. My new SSG is going to be super sick, fully kitted out. Of course, I won't even go to the build list is like a million miles long. But I'm using SHS 16-to-1 gears, which are like technically speed gears, but 18-to-1s are standard. So 16-to-1 gears and a Warhead brushless motor with a KWA pinion gear, super glued on the top. Shoots like 38 rounds a second. Super sick. And runs completely cold. Not cold, but you know, it doesn't run hot at all. I saw a US Airsoft showcase that shows the AKs they had. As far as I can tell, it looked just as good as that. Yeah, I mean, they're probably, I don't know, I've held some Lancers that are pretty aesthetically pleasing, but as far as their gearbox, I mean, it'll depend. I need to know what the price point is on those, because honestly, for me, that would depend. The price point doesn't automatically make it a good gun, but in general, I feel like airsoft companies are pretty good at in general. There are several that aren't, but in general, I feel like there are some good airsoft brands that know the value of their guns. So if they charge $100 for a standard AEG, that's going to be absolute crap, and they charge $250 for this new AK, then honestly, it's it's probably worth a gamble. And especially, I would also, if I feel like I could see if I had a list of what their improvements are and whatnot. I need to look up more into those. Yeah, I'll probably do that when I get off. I'll definitely look more into those AKs to see the new differences, to see what they have to offer. Because honestly, if something as simple as gearboxes are so much better. I feel like all airsoft companies, even their most baseline AEGs, like their cheapest AEGs, should all come properly shimmed. And I know all guns come shimmed. Yeah, but they just throw some shims on there and the gun will sound like crap. Proper motor height adjustment, wired to Deans. All guns should be wired to Deans. Deans is far superior than Tamiya. If you don't know why, go to airsoftplug.com and you'll see why. I feel like all guns should come with, at the very least, a lipo protection MOSFET. I know most of them do nowadays, and even G&G and Matrix and EMG, their guns, even have microswitch MOSFETs and stuff, and those are great. I feel like most guns should have that at the very least. I feel like that's kind of a need, and I feel like we're kind of past, having guns that, just kind of half-butt it. So, yeah, but for sure, yeah. Depending on the price point, I would have to see a specs list of what the improvements are on the new Lancer AK. But yeah, I mean, it might be worth the gamble, honestly. I mean, if you've got a little bit of money to spend, or if you want to go in on one with a friend and share the gun or something, or if you just wanted to get one and do a review on it and then sell it or raffle it off, that'd be good too. I haven't done a ton of research. I have seen the video you're talking about, and I think I think there's potential there. A company that's known for being notoriously bad, if we're honest, there's always the potential there for them to improve. So, yeah, I think it's worth keeping an eye on. It's not something to totally brush to the side. Yeah, for sure. Let's put this stock back on real fast. Wires. Alrighty. Let's see here. Right. Now we're going to screw this back in. Yeah, I love the S&T gearboxes to death. Amazing gun for the price point. For honest, because a lot of Echo ones, baseline guns start at 200, 230, and they don't have any MOSFET at all. And the microswitch MOSFET is in there are so nice because they have no semi-delay. And dude, Krytacs, yes, Krytacs are higher quality, they're full metal and all this stuff, but their MOSFETs are just lipo protection. So I'm I have bought 5 Matrix S&T guns so far, and I plan to buy more. I want to try one. I want to try plug-in protection on there. Next time I get one, we'll see how that goes. Once I have the funds to get one. But yeah, you're not gonna get HBA performance out of it. There's just there's a reason HBA costs so much. But definitely for the price point, I feel like it's a far superior gun. and a lot of people don't realize that. But people, once they get one, my buddy, his name's also Peter. I met him on Hop Up, and we contact each other regularly. He's an airsoft player up north, I think, somewhere. And I convinced him to buy one. And once he bought one, he was like, "Holy crap, this thing's amazing!" And like, it was so cheap too. And we waited till they went on sale for $130. But like even if you don't, like if you bought one at full price, which is would you say $180? Then yeah, but still, they're still amazing guns, I swear. Man, I haven't had a spring in my trigger for like 2 years. Time to work on that plate a little bit. Let's see. Let's turn it. Full stock, better than a retractable one? When you say full stock, do you mean like a stubby stock, like this? I enjoy these. I think they're kind of cool looking, and I love the battery space. Stick batteries or butterfly types? I have no preference at all. It literally depends on what, because that's another thing. If you have a stubby stock like this, it doesn't really matter, because you can use stick batteries, butterfly types. Pretty much all of them will fit in here. As far as if you're using a brick, I found a really good battery. I'll show you all the battery that I got, because I put a stubby stock on my new SSG as well, and I needed some powerful batteries to fit in there. So give me 1 second, and I'll show you all that battery that I bought. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, I need a drink. Lucky for me, I got a fridge. Anyway, so yeah, battery space. This is the brick. I bought 2 of these. These are 1300 mAh 90C batteries. So, and these, I bought these because they fit. I'll show you real fast. Let me pull out my FCU. Let's see here. 1 second. But yeah, I bought these specifically because I knew that they would fit. Because when you're running a brick battery, size is an issue that you can run into. But if you have a butterfly, or like something like that, or like a small stick battery, like it literally does not matter, like, because they're flexible as far as size. So you just open up a little door there on the back, literally fits right in, and you got some wiggle room to spare. It's awesome. Can't even really hear it jiggling around in there. Of course, I don't have any Gate Titan wires right now, but yeah, I have 2 stubby stocks now, so I actually have an extra one. I have a 3rd one. I need to sell that thing. Bought it and then just haven't done anything with it. But yeah, that's why I bought these batteries. I got these from Airsoft Barracks here in not here in Jackson, down in Jacksonville. Super great batteries. I have 2 of those. For really long game days where I don't have time to charge or swap batteries, I have this one. I've had this battery forever, but it's a 5,000 mAh, 50 to 60 C, and I just tape it to the side of my stock. And I know it looks ridiculous, but it saves you from having to charge your battery. It literally just goes all day, so it's super nice. But to answer your question, yes, I would go. I would go with the Stubby stock. I think they're definitely worth it. They're in high demand right now. People love them for speedsoft builds, for good CQB builds and whatnot. But they're definitely worth getting. GMP sells them. Electro Tactical makes some. I have a Electro Tactical one right now. This is a Matrix, and the one on my SSG is a GMP, which are basically the same thing. But yeah. This battery, all the FCUs come wired to JST connectors. So your FCU right here has the JST connector. This little battery, this is made by Matrix, I think, and I just wrapped some electrical tape around it. But yeah, that comes with the JST connection, and you just plug it right in, and your FCU will power on. It says shot, so that means it's ready to be fired. And yeah, it's ready to go. My goodness, I can hear the solenoids firing. You probably can't hear it on the stream, but yeah, it's all good to go. And this will last you probably a week's worth of gameplay, charged all the way up, because the new FCUs they use so little power. I think they still use power while they're plugged in, so if I wouldn't leave it in there. You can if you're not that concerned about it, but yeah, it just plugs right into the FCU, super easy, just like a battery plugs into a gun. Yep, all tuned up, ready to go. Alrighty, let's put this crap back together. Let's put that in there. And then, best bang for your buck HBA tank. The ASG Ultra Air, so it says ASG space ULTR AIR. ASG Ultra Air 48 cubic inch 3000 psi tank. I think Airsoft Megastore has it, and I think I bought mine originally off of Amped Airsoft. I don't know if they carry them anymore. It was like $50, I think. But honestly, so that's probably the best bang for your buck. That's the tank I had for the longest time. It did have an issue later on. After about a year of usage, it had something wrong with the refresh rate. So, no, I'm sorry. Never mind. No, that was still a great tank. That was the regulator. I'm sorry. Great tank. ASG Ultra Air, 48 cubic inch, 3000 psi. Great tank. I sold that tank purely to... I had an issue. My reg was 7 years old. I bought it used, and my reg had an issue. So I trashed the reg, and I sold my line and my tank. And then I bought a SLP setup, so that way I could run lower PSI. because fields are lowering their limits and stuff, and it's more air efficient. So I switched to SLP. So now I have a amped Airsoft SLP super low pressure tank, amped Airsoft, or is it a Ninja super low pressure regulator, and an amped Airsoft line. Super good air setup. I love it. Been using it for a little under a year now, but it's super good. Runs efficient. Had zero issues. Love it. And the tank is roughly. It's a little bit more expensive to get super low pressure. I think it's worth it to just get a tank that you know is tried and true. Anything amped Airsoft or Ninja is a great choice. Those are tried and true products. I've used most of them, so I would definitely recommend one of those. All right, got our gun back together. Spring in our trigger. So weird. I'm a weirdo. It's okay. Mommy tells me I'm special. Let's see here. All right, let's unplug our battery. I was gonna go play Airsoft today, but I have a car meet at 3 that I'm going to, and then I really should get started on homework. This is more fun though. I like talking to you guys more than doing homework. Plus, I already worked my butt off the last 2 weeks, like 8 hours a day of homework. So this is way better. Let's see. What else did I work on? Got the gun all done. Let's go to my camera. Where's my dye mask? Let me go get my dye mask real fast. You know what? Screw that. I can't find it. It's somewhere in my closet. I don't feel like pulling it out. Ridiculous. Let's see. Some of my upcoming videos. I'm working on footage from Airsoft Columbia. Obviously, that's going to be a wild card video. So I wasn't there long enough, and I didn't get enough kills for a montage. Also, because the field was so small, the montage would look retarded. But I will be releasing raw footage from that, just best clips out of my raw footage. So it'll be a wild card video. I think it'll be wild card 5. I don't know. So that'll be a wild card video, and then a full install video of my F2. I'll probably release that here within a month or so. That'll be an easy video. Most people know how to do that, but most people know how to install a speed trigger too, and people loved the video where I installed the speed trigger. That video actually took off, and I couldn't believe it, because I'm like, I thought most people knew how to do this. I was just making it for kicks, but apparently people loved it, and it was super helpful. So I'll probably do an installation video too. Try to make it real short, real simple for you guys. I'll be doing a review video on my SSG once I get that, hopefully in a couple weeks. Once the FPS issue is solved. What else? I have a couple other videos planned that are on my agenda to do. I've been throwing around this idea of doing like field reviews, like full reviews of the field, like the pro shop, like if they have food, the actual playing course, the referees, the management, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's something y'all would really care about or something like that. I don't know. I've considered it. I'm trying to go and visit now that I'm up here at college. I'm out of state. You know, I'm not living at home as often anymore. You know, I have the opportunity to go to more fields if I want to. If I don't have homework and I don't have anything else to do with friends, then I can just drive myself to an airsoft field. Like the one in Columbia, that was an hour and a half away, and that was totally fine for me. I drove that no issue. Like, I like driving. If you haven't seen any of my car videos on the channel, then check those out, because my car is my baby. I spend way too much money on my car. But yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to other fields. I'm hoping to hit SS Airsoft sometime, maybe, I don't know. Everyone's FPS rules are so fricked nowadays, dude. Like, you know, they put so many restrictions on the HVA, and then they say, oh, your limit's 350, and like my new SSG shoots like 370 or 380, so I'm like, okay, yes, I can't play there either. It's tough having a gun that, you know, actually shoots normal, and yet, you know, everyone still restricts the crap out of it. But yeah, I'm thinking about maybe doing field reviews, something like that. Something of that nature. Gun reviews are not going to happen as often, unless it's like comedic, like, yeah, comedy style stuff. Because like the Matrix S&T, I still want to do a review on that. I will buy one of those just so I can show you guys how awesome it is. But I don't think very many guns, because of, like, obviously I'm a college student, I'm not working right now, I just spent a bunch of money on my car. I can't afford to, like, buy guns, even by recommendation. Like, if someone's like, oh, please, you know, do a review on, you know, like a VFC Avalon, or please do a review on, you know, even the new Light Tactical AK, unless it's, like, super cheap, like less than $200, I probably won't get around to doing it. But you know, it's one of those things. You know, I'll do what I can, but again, you know, I only have 2 sponsors, and they don't sponsor me in ways that would make it easier for me to get entire rifles just yet. My 2 sponsors right now are Fiachi Optics and Accessories, and then big shout out to One Stop Airsoft. One Stop Airsoft is a brand new store that's already out and adding new things every day. Products like MAXX products, Titans, products by my boy Arctos Airsoft, 3D printed parts like triggers, trigger guards, things of that nature. So they're an online store, super great guys. I've been collabing with them here and there. Big shout out to them, they're awesome. Good place to go get your stuff. If you ever go buy anything from them on their website, tell them Crazy Asian sent you. They'll be super happy to know that, and it'll make them happy with me. Yeah, I think we're about, I'm kind of out of things to say. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna make myself some lunch, probably take a nap. Oh, well, car meet starts in 45 minutes. Alright, I'll see you guys around. Thank y'all for watching.